Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live here to 3Y TV. Tonight we got the ASRS and Maxwell Customs Truck Series event here at Chicagoland Speedway. It'll be the first time we get to go to Chicagoland Speedway under the lights. Definitely looking forward to this one. Joining me in the booth tonight is guest commentator Levi Zielinski. And Levi, Chicagoland Speedway is a 1.5-mile racetrack, one of the fastest racetracks out there, and always puts on a good show. Take us around Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, Chicagoland's probably one of my favorite tracks, personally. It has 2 lanes. You got a bottom, very bottom, against the white line, and then you got almost all the way against the wall. So, like, my favorite place is against the wall here. It's a very smooth track. It's easy to stay. You got to be in the throttle almost 24/7 here to be able to be fast, and once the tires wear out, it becomes insane. And the best thing about this, there's always a fuel mileage game to be played.
Yeah, like you said, it is a lot of different lines around this racetrack, which makes for a very exciting race each and every time we come here. But the Under the Lights is new to Chicagoland. iRacing has added that recently, so this is the first time we'll get to see those lights come on around this 1.5-mile D-shaped oval. We'll quickly take you through the point standings. Currently we're in qualifying session, but currently atop the Truck Series point standings is Jared Mogard. He's 78 markers ahead of Evan Black. Devin Serra, another 10 markers behind Evan Black. Mitch Brown sits 4th, and Will Worsler rounds out your top 5. We also have the Premier Series, which is the combined total of the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series and the Sim Marketing Solutions Cup Series. And it is Jared Mogard who leads those points as well. 152 markers ahead of Evan Black. Corey Silva, another 72 back. Will Worsler and Joseph Seville not too far behind Corey Silva, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have noticed, the title of tonight's race has been changed. It is now the Sam Maxwell Senior Memorial 125. Sam Maxwell will not be participating in tonight's race. So we do want to give a moment's silence before the start of this race to remember Sam Maxwell Sr. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, definitely going to be a exciting race here tonight, and Corey Silva in the number 94 machine currently sits atop the board in qualifying at 29.776. Good run for Troy Haight as well. Troy Haight has kind of been off the map as of recently, but Troy there in that number 28 machine currently sitting 2nd. Jared Mogard always up near the top here in the Truck Series. He currently sits 3rd. Evan Black 4th, and Will Worsler 5th. We have 23 trucks who have taken time so far. There's still a decent number of trucks who have not turned a qualifying lap. But, you know, Levi, around this joint, what is the best way to qualify around this place?
For me, personally, it definitely got to be on the bottom. I feel like the bottom is where it is for the first 5 laps. I've never ran here at night, and probably half of us haven't yet, but I feel like at night is going to be interesting. I don't know if the top lane will really come in. That's going to be the real question tonight. Is it just going to be a 1-lane track or not?
All these drivers are racing with the same setup, and one thing about this track that I'm interested to see is whether or not the setup is going to be tight or loose. You know, iRacing, they create these fixed setups and they change them each and every build every 13 weeks, and sometimes you just get a setup that's a little bit on the tight side, and usually with the cooler temperatures at night, the trucks tend to be a little bit tighter. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as this race continues to go on. There you see the number 26 machine. That, of course, is driven by Lee Staples as Lee gets close to the fence through turns number 1 and 2, right up near that red wall. Pretty cool to see that red wall up there. Lee's decided to come down now and park that number 26 truck on the back straight. One thing we also want to mention is we do have the Triple Threat Series. This is a small little 3-race-long series. Of course, it started back a couple weeks ago with Jared Mogard winning round 1 at Iowa Speedway. Last week we had the number 6. Not the number 6. Who took that? It was Jason Stewart. Jason Stewart in the number 1 machine. He was not the winner of last week's race. The winner of last week's race was Mitch Brown. However, Mitch Brown was found to have had an infraction during the race, and a couple of other drivers had infractions during the race. And so the $25 that went to last week's race winner actually fell down to Jason Stewart in the 1 machine. So I'm sure he was happy to have an extra $25 in his back pocket. But there's another $25 on the line tonight to tonight's winner. And Levi, whenever there's money on the line, things turn up.
Yeah, it definitely does turn up. You're going to see somebody get a little bit greedy at the end of this race, and definitely going to see a caution-filled race at the end of this, just because people are going to be trying to get that money. I mean, who doesn't want money?
Yeah, hopefully we don't have as many wrecks as we had last week. Last week at Gateway Motorsports Park, there was a lot of yellow last week at Gateway Motorsports Park. There was definitely more yellow, I would say, than green flag running in that race. But tonight's racetrack is a little bit easier on the drivers, a lot faster. It's kind of a downforce track. You're going to want to have a lot of downforce around this racetrack. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And, going back to what you said, Levi, if things get towards the end, we might just have a green-white checker. And talk us through the green-white checker here in the ASRS series.
Yeah, so green-white checker, it's going to be crazy. They do 3 of them. So it's kind of crazy that it's not unlimited, it's not 1, it's 3. So you got 3 attempts at it, and that means 3 wrecks and 3 people not winning. So, I mean, there's easily going to be a shakeup, especially, I believe we may see all 3 tonight, especially with money on the line. I mean, who isn't going to want to wreck somebody for money?
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be an exciting show once we get towards the end. And as you can see, this sun is slowly setting over the Chicagoland Speedway. Local time at the racetrack, it's 7:44. And that sun will continue to set, and we will descend into the darkness here. Qualifying has wrapped up. It is Corey Silva who will take the pole. And like I said, good run for Troy Haight in that number 28 Hater Racing machine. Mogard sits 3rd, Evan Black 4th, and Will Worcester in the 29 is 5th. But we'll now jump over to the grid. All these trucks now starting to line up on the front stretch right by the flagman. And we will take you through the field here at Chicagoland Speedway. Starting on the pole, driver of the number 94 machine, Corey Silva. Alongside him, the 28 of Troy Haight. Row number 2 is the 00 of Jared Mogard, and the number 92 of Evan Black. Row number 3, the 29 of Will Forster, looking to get yet another win in the Truck Series here tonight. Will roll off 5th. Alongside him in the number... I think this type of track will play into the hands of that number 11 machine. Starting in 7th is the number 20 of Devin Serra, and to his outside, Jackson Van Valkenburg in the number 86. Rounding out your top 10 is, Brandon Stokes and Doug Mullins. Starting in the 11th position will be the 35 of Kelsey Rogers and the 26 of Lee Staples. Richard Stallings and Tim Nupp, row number 7. On row number 8, it will be the 24 of Alan Young. Keep an eye on him. He usually works his way up to the front before this is all said and done. And the 31 of Jimmy McKee. The number 43 of Steve Buhala rolls off from the 17th Energy Machine. And to the outside is the 66 of Edward Bray. Alex Giese will roll off from 19th. And rounding out your top 20 is Chris Titus in the 04. Next, we go to row 11, the 01. And Jeremy Banning. Starting in the 23rd position inside of row 12 will be Jim Foose in the number 42 machine. He's the league organizer, and alongside him, the 46 of Robbie Baskins. Pete Baskins rolls off right behind him in the 25th position. And then last week's race winner, Mitch Brown, will start from outside of row number 13. Also not taking time, Jason Stewart, Calvin Miller, Brandon Krutz, Richard Fletcher, and Jack Wills. That will round out your 31 truck field here tonight. And Levi, it's pretty awesome to see 31.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's going to be insane to watch all these people, run here. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing, I think, especially with this many trucks in the field. It's going to be some short hair and maybe some short tempers come to the end of this. I mean, we know what's going to happen, but I guess I got one question for you, Peter. Who you got the win?
I am going to keep an eye on the number 11 machine as the green flag is now in the air. We're racing here at Chicagoland Speedway. The whole field gets a good start. And looks like that number 94 of Corey Silva got a great start. He's going to be down there on the inside line getting a push from Jared Mogard from behind. That outside line definitely not working out for Troy Haight. That bright green number 28 machine on that high side just all of a sudden not able to get a good push, and he's sliding back already back to the 5th position.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take some time to get that top lane moving. I don't expect it to be there for about 5 or 10 laps, and then you may see it work a little bit. So they got to get to the bottom as fast as they can.
Now here comes battle for the race lead, and looks like the number 92 Evan Black will take the lead from his teammate Corey Silva, but they're side by side once again down the back stretch. That 94 now to the inside of that number 92 machine, and look at Corey Silva. It looks like we might see some back and forth here tonight, but Evan Black gonna hold tough on the outside in that number 92. He's gonna lead that lap once again. Or I should say, take the lead for the first time, because it was the 94 of Corey Silva. So 2 laps in, we've already had 2 race leaders. And one thing I heard from the drivers last week is that it might be pretty flat out here tonight. It's usually pretty flat out. From your experience, Levi, would you say it's pretty flat out here? And I would think it being night would just make it even more flat out.
Yeah, this is definitely in the trucks. This is definitely like a flat out track, if not a...
Oh, we have contact. It's right up in the front of the field. Devin, Sarah, and Brandon Stokes. Sorry to cut you off. Alan Young's involved. The 35 is also involved. Kelsey Rogers, we'll have to go back and see that one on the replay, but I think there was a little bit of contact through the tri-oval. And I think that put the 20 around. We'll go back and see this. What happened here, Levi?
It just looks like the 9 got into the 20. He tried to cut to the bottom, and I don't think the 20 realized that he did that sharp, and he just came down on him.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and see if we can get an onboard from maybe the 9's perspective. He had driven up near the wall, you see him, and then he cuts way down to the apron, and then that contact right through the center of the tri-oval. Yeah, essentially just tried to cross over. It just didn't work out in his favor at all. I'm pretty sure he's going to think twice before that again. Yeah, Brandon Stokes got a ton of front end damage. Let's see if we can wire right on board with 24 Alan Young here. And you see him coming into the mess, and oof, all of a sudden some pretty hard impact right there. The front end of that truck. Devin Sarah and the 20 machine coming out to take him out. So drivers involved in that accident, Tyler Seville, who was my pick to win tonight. Brandon Stokes, of course, getting damage. The 35, quite a bit of damage. That's Kelsey Rogers. Here in the ASRS Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, as your leaders are already on pit road. And this is kind of interesting, Levi, with how few laps we ran. I was kind of curious to see whether or not drivers would stay out, but I guess they're thinking tires are going to be important here tonight. Yeah, I definitely thought that tires, I think they'd be as important as that, so I definitely thought track position may play a key in this, but it looks like a lot of people kind of thought different of that, so we're going to see if there's going to be some 2 and 4 tires here. Yeah, and looks like the race off pit road will be won by Troy Haight in the number 28 machine. So fantastic run for Troy Haight. And he is going to get up there near the front in that number 28 machine. We're going to see if we can take a brief pause here. Going to go to commercial. We'll be right back with you. is actually true. Because of the temperatures, I thought that you could probably stay out there on a few laps older tires, but Stallings definitely leading the way here.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely probably would have. Oh, he's sideways. Hate is sideways. Wow. And I think he saved it. He did.
Oh, no,
oh, there's a wreck behind him. Oh, no, he's going to get caught up in it. Oh, he saved. Oh, wow.
Well, it was lucky enough for the Troy Haight that he wasn't involved in that, but tough break for Steve Buhala and the number 43 who's smoking.
That almost came back to him, though. That was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if the field decided to...
I think they started checking up when he was wrecking. Or, well, when he was sideways.
I think Steve Buhala and the 43 got loose.
He did too.
Yeah, Buhala got loose and he just kind of hooked up into the field, and that number 43 went around. So that was a tough break. I think that was Jack Wells as well who was involved in that. So definitely
some oil.
Yeah, definitely a couple of drivers getting involved. So tough break for a few, but nonetheless, excuse me, Chris Lane in the 0-1. Him and Jack Wells have similar trucks every once in a while. But oof, I think it was also Lee Staples who got a hard hit from behind. That number 26 machine is now smoking, but leaders are on pit road. Stallings, and you know what, Tanner? Richard Stallings, that paid off quite well for him.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely decided to come back in. I think he realized tires are a little bit more important than he thought it would be, so I think it's a smart decision by him. It seems like tires are pretty important. It seems like the two tires may have been a little bit too loose by how Haight went around out of turn 2.
Well, nonetheless, we got Richard Stallings now headed off pit road. We'll have to see who else decides to take two tires here. Looks like the number 94, 92, and Doug Mullins in the 18. In fact, Mullins is going to win the race off pit road. So don't win the race off pit road and be your race leader in the number 18 machine. We're going to step away for just a brief moment and come right back to you. All right, ladies and Welcome back to the Chicagoland Raceway. I'm Peter Short, joining the booth with Levi Zielinski. Let's just run down the top 5 for you on this restart that's coming up here in just about half a lap. Doug, 18 machine, started in 10th position. He's up to the lead now. Corey Silva is in 2nd, Evan Black 3rd, Jared Mogard 4th, and Will Worcester 5th. Doug Mullins took by. We saw it work for Richard Stallings. Stallings is now 5th position on the inside of row number 3 in that number 17 bright yellow truck. What do you think about Doug Mullins' call here?
I'm a person, I love two-tire call personally, but it's just after seeing the 18, I'm just curious if this is going to happen again. Temperatures are so low that it's going to make it really loose on those 2 tires, but we're about to find out here. They're live.
Green flag back in the air. Everyone loud on the on the loud pedal. There's a little bit of 3-wide racing in the back, but that number 18, Doug Mullins, got a fantastic restart. He's going to jump out to about a 2-truck length lead over the number 92 of Evan Black. Here comes Mogard. He's going to fall up into the 3rd position. Here comes Will Worcester in the number 29. He's going to now move up into 4th. That is underneath that blue truck. That would be your pole sitter, Corey Silva, in that machine. And now Corey Silva going to do the over-under. And Corey Silva using that apron to the best of his abilities. And Levi, we've seen a lot of trucks use that apron in this race so far. In fact, it got Devin Serra and the 9 into trouble earlier, but is that something that these drivers are just going to do lap after lap here tonight?
Yeah, definitely. You get so much time off of it, but we got a battle for the lead, and
yeah, that would be the number 92 to the point once again. Doug Mullins in that number 18 machine. He has on 2 tires versus all those other trucks around him who are on 4. So Mullins, who started this race in the 10th position, he's now slid back into 4th, running that higher groove. He's going to have to kind of regroup and see if he can tackle the leaders once more.
Here comes Mogart, though, to the bottom. He's going to make that pass on Evan Black, it looks like. But
yeah, look at
Evan's holding up pretty well on the high side. Oh, he's going to get up. He's going to chop them off.
Yeah, I was going to say that number 92, he's holding it strong and up on the top, getting that momentum up. But look, he's looking. He's looking to see if he can find a way around that 00 of Mogard. Not quite able to do so just yet.
Oh, he's going to get it. He got to the bottom.
Yeah, you know what? I think that the draft is so important here tonight, Levi, that you can kind of just stay with someone, and that's going to put on good racing all night long, especially with all the grip.
Mogard's still there, though. Mogard's still there. Oh, my God.
He tried to close the door on Mogard, couldn't quite do it. Now they're side by side down the front stretch for the race lead. Still racing here at Chicagoland. Look at Corey Silva in the number 94. He's trying to find a way around these 2 in front of him, but the 92 of Evan Black is his teammate. Kind of surprised he's pushing Mogard down the back stretch and not helping out his teammate, but nonetheless, all is fair in racing as they go through turns number 3 and 4, still side by side.
This is where the high side's going to come important, man. The longer they go on these tires, the better that high side's going to get in, and you're going to see where Mogard's able to hold him there. And a few more laps, I think he's going to be able to make that pass if he can stay with them like this. And 1 and 2, you can definitely see the difference on that high side versus that bottom.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Levi, because I know I've raced here at Chicagoland Speedway, and usually if you run that higher groove, you can help save your tires just a little bit more than if you're pinned down on the bottom. And I think that might be what we're starting to see out of that number 92 truck. Starting to slide back just a little bit as Mogard has now legged himself out to about a 2 or 3 truck length lead out at the front, but we'll keep an eye on that. Now there's a battle in that between Evan Black and Will Worcester in the number 29. And assuming that's Corey Silva on the high side and Will Worcester on the inside. Those 2 trucks just battling it out with one another. And this is pretty impressive to see, Levi. I know it might be frustrating for some of the drivers, but they're definitely putting on a show.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, it's definitely, this is what we want to see, is this side-by-side race and multi-grooves. And look at how high Silva's. Oh, he lost it, though. He got too high.
Yeah, might have had to check up there, and I know I've done that coming sudden. It seems sometimes pushes out of there. Ooh, look at the number 92. Yeah, he had to check up majorly, and here comes Will Worsler in to the inside. Now Will Worsler looking for second. And in fact, he's going to take that position as they head off into turn number 1. So move Worsler up to second. He started in the 5th position, up 3 spots from the start of this race. And what about Alex Giese? He's currently in the 5th position. He started 19th. So what an impressive run so far by Giese to work his way into the top 5 now.
Yeah, one thing you got to notice,
we got this side-by-side battle a little bit further back, and look at this gaggle of cars. We got the 41 of Tim Knott underneath Kelsey Rogers. Remember, Kelsey Rogers was involved in that first accident here tonight, but that number 35 truck is looking pretty good considering all the damage he received earlier on. I'm sure that crew has gone to work to see if they can get that thing repaired. He's running that high line to the outside of Tim and not quite able to get that move as this gaggle of cars from Richard Stallings in 8th place all the way back to Jackson von Volkenberg. There's about 10 truck gaggle here, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's nowhere to pass right now. Just buying their time right now. The big thing to notice with the high side of them from earlier with the leaders is they're trying to essentially they're not arcing it very well. So they're not entering high, and that's why they're having issues having to check up. I mean, if you're going to run that high side, you got to either be almost against that wall and starting against the wall almost, but they're not doing that. They're trying to use it and basically start in the middle groove and then go up high, and that's just not going to work. So they got to figure something out.
One driver to keep an eye on is the number 51 of Mitch Brown, and Mitch Brown, he started back in the 26th position, and now he's worked his way all the way up to the 8th position. So that's plus 18 spots for 51 of Mitch Brown. He's looking to close in on Doug Mullins, as Mullins is still on the 2-tire strategy under that last caution, but we're starting to get kind of a green flag field to this race, which is good to see. We're over the quarter distance, and Mitch Brown closing in on Mullins really fast down the front straight. We're going to have a battle for the 7th position here very quickly, and 51 is going to slide underneath Mullins. So move Mitch Brown up into 7th. And oh, we got 41 of Tim Knott going through the grass on the back stretch. And he's trying his best to save it.
I think he got it.
He did save it. Yes, no, yes, no, no. And that's going to be barely the inside wall. I mean, Tim Knott, give that driver a hand. He did everything he could, that entire backstretch, to save that truck from death. And he's only got a few scrapes on the left rear. He's going to unfortunately lose a bunch of time, but we have a battle for the race lead. Will Worsler in the number 29 machine has caught your race leader, and Will Worsler has gone to the front here at Chicagoland. He's gotten around Mogard, and here comes that 94 of Corey Silva starting to hound Mogard for the 2nd position. So all of a sudden it seems like maybe Mogard's tires possibly starting to go off as this race just continues to ebb and flow. There's about 8 to 10 truck lengths probably back between the 94 of Corey Silva back to his teammate Evan Black. Alex Giese still runs in 5th, but look at that number 94. He's closing right up on that back bumper of that number 00 machine.
Yeah, Mogard's just not rolling the center very good. He's having to check out almost every time out of these corners, and that's where he's losing a lot of the time. Right there, Silva gets to his bumper again out of the corner every single time. I've noticed that. So he's just got to roll a little bit more through the center. I think he'd be in it too early.
Yeah, and ooh, maybe the 00 might have caught the apron there. It's a little bit squirrely coming out of the corner.
Man, he almost got Silva.
Yeah, Silva running that higher groove is going to make that pass work. On tracks like this, if you can get to a truck's quarter panel on the outside, usually you can make that pass stick, but ooh, a little bit squirrely again coming out of turn number 4. Mogard looks like his truck's starting to loosen up, but he got a better run off the corner than Silva did, and that's allowing Will Worsler in that number 29 machine to just run away with it. Last time by, Worsler was 6/10 of a second faster than these two, as these two continue to duke it out for second.
Bogart take the air off of him that last lap out of 4 is the reason why he got by him, because he just got so close to his quarter panel that he just got him a little bit loose.
Yeah, and it seems like the race has kind of gone single file for about the first 15 or so trucks, but we're continuing to watch this battle for second. It has allowed the 92 of Evan Black to close back in on his teammate Corey Silva. as they go around the lap traffic. That is the 06 of Jack Wells that they're going around. Jack Wells, I think he received some damage in one of those early accidents, so tough run for him. I know I've been in those trucks before, Levi, where you're down on power and there's really nothing you can do. But nonetheless, Mogard will hold on to the second spot for now. Oh, 93, that's Brandon Krutz is around on the front stretch, and I saw that happen just out of the corner of my eye. And that number 93 has gone around. We'll have to go back and see if we can see what happened here on a replay. But I'm getting indication that it just happened all by himself. Got a little bit loose coming out of the corner. Ooh, got Jackson Van Valkenburg as well in the 86 machine. Van Valkenburg had nowhere to go, and he got the side of Krutz. And that's going to be an unfortunate day for Brandon, because he's just like Jack Wells now. We were just talking about Jack. Krutz is going to have a lot of damage from that.
Man, it looks like these tires are pretty slick the more they run on them. We've seen the 41 when he was trying to get back on the track. He was really loose on those tires, and we just seen him get loose like that too. So these tires must be extremely not happy with the drivers at.
Yeah, one driver who was super excited to see this caution flag was Tim Knott. Tim had that occurrence on the backstretch, or that situation a couple laps ago where he put it through the grass and spent the entire backstretch saving that truck, but now he'll be able to catch up to the field. He's currently running in the 23rd position, excuse me. Last car on the lead lap, Jack Wells. He will get one of his two laps back, excuse me. Sometimes we commentators, we tend to say too much too fast.
Yeah, now I got lucky, man. He's got the horseshoe.
All your leaders are on pit road, led down by Will Worcester and the number 29. They're going to hit their pit box here. And everyone does a good job of hitting their pit box. Ooh, looks like the 94 of Corey Silva ran a little bit long in this pit box. There goes Troy Haight. Haven't really seen much of Troy Haight all too recently in that number 28 machine. We'll have to keep an eye on where he comes off pit road and that bright green machine. But here comes Mogard. I think Mogard, no. I think Will Worcester just won that race off pit road, but what a battle it was off pit road.
Mogard tried.
Mogard did everything he could to try and get that lead.
I think he's about to wreck it back.
But does look like the whole field kind of came out single file. We'll keep an eye on how everyone does come off pit road once the whole field shakes out. Currently being scored as the race lead is the number 11 of Tyler Seville, who did decide to stay out to get that lap led. And of course, on that 11 machine is Slice Pizza Bar. If you're ever in the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg area, go check them out. Kind of cool to see them sponsor that number 11 machine. But that number 11 will come down pit road to get 4 fresh tires. And that will hand the race lead back to the number 29 of Will Worcester. Chris Lane in the 01 might take the wave around here. He's currently 19 laps down, but still out there running. Speaking of drivers still running, we have had a couple of retirements. Brandon Stokes, Lee Staples, Edward Bray, Steve Buhala, Devin Serra, and Alan Young have all taken their trucks to the garage for the remainder of tonight's event. And that's definitely not what you want to see if you're one of those drivers. I know, Levi, we've been in accidents before. Some of those accidents actually between us. But it's never fun to be out of those races early.
Man, you had to bring it up, didn't you?
Oh, I did. As I was saying,
I was just getting over it.
Just as I was saying, I was
man.
like, "Uh-oh, I know where this is going. I better get this one."
Homestead.
There's a little bit of history between us in the booth here tonight. We won't go too much into it, but let's just say I got a little bit loose coming out of the corner, and Levi was to my outside. We were both fighting for a championship, and we both ended up losing that championship. So
I still think I had the better truck that night. Just saying.
You had a good long-run truck, I must say. You had me on the road there.
Yeah, you had me during the beginning of that run, though.
Nonetheless, that's not here tonight at Chicagoland as the sun continues to set. And we have seen these trucks a little bit loose here tonight, but you know what, Levi, as the sun continues to set, the track temperature will go down. Let's take a look at the track temperature. Currently, the track is at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's pretty cool for iRacing. Usually, it's kind of surprising actually to see these trucks be so loose with a track temperature as low as 68.
It's clear skies too, so I don't know if that has a factor in it or not, but I mean it could be. So it definitely could be the reason why it's a little bit looser tonight. But I bet you these drivers, after they get done with this race, they want to go to that Juliet Casino that I just seen the billboard for.
Yeah, especially whoever wins tonight's triple threat event, an extra $25 for tonight's winner. Assuming they don't have any infractions like Mitch Brown had last week at Gateway Motorsports Park. So you kind of have to have a clean race in order to get the triple threat cash. But nonetheless, we'll see how it all plays out as we are getting close to the halfway distance here. Pace car lights are off. Pace car dives down pit road. The race is now in the hands of Will Wurzler, and we're back green flag racing here at Chicagoland. And look at that restart for the number 29 machine.
Yeah, man, a great restart by him. I mean, he just left Mogart in the dust, and Mogart's going to lose a position on that at least one.
Yeah, the number 92 of Evan Black's going to slide by Mogart, and look at Corey Silva now. He's in that bright blue truck. He's in fourth. Look at Alex Giese in that bright red 77. He's going to go to the inside of Mitch Brown. Speaking of that number 51 machine, and if you remember, Mitch Brown did not take time in qualifying. He started back in the 26th position. He's gained 20 spots throughout this race, even though he now resides in 6th position. Look at Giese. Giese's closing in on the back of Corey Silva, but for now, it's all Wurzler up at the front.
Yeah, he's got a train behind him though, so I don't think he's gonna have it for much longer. Or at least he's about to have a battle for it. That's for sure.
First side-by-side battle is between the 3 of Pete Bask, 2 of Jim Foose. That's a battle for the 11th position, but then there's contact between Foose and Baskets, and Tim hard to the outside wall.
41 just went across the field and across Foose's nose. Wow.
Well, we were watching him. I don't really know how to call that one, but
wow, 3 just came up.
I think the 3 might have been actually holding his line, but Jim Foose, I think, was expecting him to be down there on the apron, and I think that's what happened. I think Foose just expected that truck to be on the apron, but what a hard hit for Tim Knott. I mean, poor old Tim Knott kind of just got clipped in the right rear, and it sent that 41 machine hard up into the outside wall. There's really nothing Tim could have done about that, and that number 41 machine is unfortunately going to come to a halt here. Blown motor. That will be the end of the night for that number 41 Sim Marking Solutions Toyota Tundra. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the unfortunate things about running that apron is you get an accident like that shouldn't happen, but it does because you expect that driver to go to the apron and then they end up not going to the apron. You just collide together. Essentially what caused that.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jim Foose will be kicking himself over that. Jim, definitely, from what I have learned of the ASRS series covering it here, Jim likes to keep that number 42 Menards Toyota Tundra nice and clean, and definitely has some scrapes on it now, some right side damage, but all your leaders are coming back down pit road, come and get more tires, and you know, we only had a short run. It's been 7 laps since these drivers were back on pit road. Do you expect to see some more 2-tire strategy here?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to say some people are going to go 2 tires on this. It's the call. I mean, there's only about 2 laps on those tires, so I think 2 tires is a great call right now.
We'll have to see who wins the race off pit road. All the crews now go into work at the end of pit road. But it's going to be interesting to see. It looks like we do. The 31 of Jimmy McKee decides. And then comes the 29. Yeah, I think he was. Looking at pit stop times, Jimmy McKee had a 9.4 second stop. That will get him the race lead over Will Wurzler, Evan Black, Corey Silva. Doesn't look like anyone decided to stay out to lead a lap that time. Chris Lane will take the lucky dog, or excuse me, the wave around once again, and I think the lucky dog will go to no one. Doesn't look like anyone was eligible for the lucky dog. So Tim Knott that number 41 machine is done. Jackson van Valkenburg, that number 86 machine has also retired from the event. Brandon Krutz, he's retired from the event. So really, the only driver out there eligible for the Lucky Dog, first car 1 or more laps down, is Chris Lane, and he is currently 19 laps down. So that's quite a ways back. But a lot of the other trucks in front are multiple laps down are now off the racetrack. Jim Foose in the number 42. He's currently sitting on pit road. Lots of damage to that number 42 machine. He's going to try and get as much damage to that thing fixed to see if he can get back out there. But that front end definitely crumpled up.
Yeah, his toe's knocked out too, so.
Calvin Miller in the 84 machine, he's also got a lot of damage. He's trying to hustle around the racetrack right now to catch up to the back of the field. But pace car lights are still on here as we now have just eclipsed the halfway mark here in the Sam Maxwell Senior Memorial 125 here on the American Sim Racing Series. Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. If you don't know what Sam Maxwell Customs is, well, let me tell you, they make some of the finest iRacings, well, not just iRacing, but sim racing products in general. Definitely go check out Sam Maxwell Customs online, Google them, check them out. Have some fantastic products. I mean, just completely stellar stuff. Some of the custom stuff that he does do is mind-blowing for the sim community. He also has certain things on there which you can, buy for your own wheel, regardless of what wheel you have. He has these speed pods, which you can mount them to just about any wheel. Add some extra buttons to your sim racing, and Levi, you and I know, the more buttons, the better.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you road race all the time, you definitely need more buttons. So, I mean, buttons are a great thing. I mean, button boxes, anything like that. I have a start and, ignition box and a non-ignition. So, I mean, it's perfect for me. I have to have a lot of stuff and got to make some brake bias adjustments during the middle of the run. Got to make some type of adjustment going to the pit road if you got to take 2 tires or no tires or whatever you got to do to win the pit road battle like the 31 just did.
Yeah, just got to give a shout out to a couple people in the chat. Alan Young, who unfortunately his race ended on just about the first lap. Jordan Harnish in the chat. We got Jackson van Valkenburg, who said he had a good truck here tonight. And unfortunately, he's in the garage. Mr. Cosplay, not quite sure who that is, but got to give you a shout out as well. So you guys all hanging out with our race producer, Carlos Acosta, Mr. RK Productions himself. But nonetheless, pace car lights are off. We're getting set to go back to green flag. And there it is, in the air, all the camera flashes as Jimmy McKee in the 31 machine will lead us down. He got a great restart, and he's going to take the lead over the number 29 of Will Warser as they get pretty much single file for the first 7 trucks. First side-by-side battle between Mogard and the number 35, Kelsey Rogers. And it doesn't look like Mogard had a good pit stop up there, Levi.
Yeah, no. I was definitely surprised, too. He definitely lost a lot of positions, so kind of curious. He's probably yelling at his crew right now about getting him a good pit stop and not a 15-second pit stop, that's for sure. Oh, we got a real big battle for the lead, though.
Yeah, well, here comes Will Warser trying to get that point back from Jimmy McKee. Of course, that number 29 is on 4 fresh tires. Here comes the number 92 to kind of follow him through. It's 4 tires versus 2. 2 tires on that number 31 truck. And it seems like all of a sudden that truck all starting to slide backwards. But now here comes the number 92 once more. Evan Black trying to get the lead back. We've seen him up at the front very early on in this race. And now Evan Black will win the lap, or at least I should say, win the back to the line. They don't get any bonus points for that. He won the lap. There just so happens to be 84 laps to win tonight. But nonetheless, here comes Corey Silva. He wants to win the lap. That's going to be the saying of the night. But now we have Corey Silva up at the front here as once again side-by-side battle between Warsler and the 92 of Evan Black. And look at Mogard. Mogard starting to close up. Mitch Brown in the 51. He's worked his way into the top 5 as their side-by-side battle for second, third, fourth, and now 3 wide for second. Mogard drops to the bottom.
I don't think he's going to let off, and middle guy decides to let out. Smart.
Yeah, smart move there by the 29 of Will Worsler, and we've seen Worsler up at the front for a good portion of this race. He doesn't want to damage that number 29 truck, but he's going to come under fire from Alex Giese in the number 77. Almost contact there on entry into the corner. And on the back of your screen, you see the number 35, Kelsey Rogers. He just got underneath Troy Hay. He's starting to move forward. He's got a ton of damage on that truck, but he's starting to move forward once more. I think every time he comes down pit road, Levi, he just gets a little bit more damage fixed, and that truck is getting more and more competitive as Mogart has moved back into third.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more competitive as the night goes on. He's able to get some of that damage fixed, and honestly, I mean, you gotta hustle, stay in it the whole time, and got a little bit of damage, keep on fixing, you can get up there. He's proving it right now. Mogart, I think, is starting to wear out his tires, though, after making those aggressive moves from about 8th place to 3rd now from that restart. So I think his tires aren't too happy right now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, but this battle from 2nd on back, that really has allowed Corey Silva to skip away. But we do have a battle that's back for the 10th position between Jeremy Banning and the number 18 of Doug Mullins. Those two drivers side by side coming out of the corner, and Jeremy Banning has a lot of rear end damage to that machine, but he's definitely showing he's still got some pace battling side by side with Doug Mullins, and Mullins has a little bit of right rear damage himself, so I wonder if those two trucks might just be having a little bit of aero damage between them, but nonetheless putting on a good show here for the top 10. Chris Titus in the number 04 right behind them, sitting in 12th. So cool to see Chris Titus having a pretty good run in the 04, and Chris, he started in the 12th position as he now comes under fire from the 17 of Richard Stallings. So really a battle between all those drivers, those 5 trucks for 10th. Now back there, and look at the one of Jason Stewart. Haven't heard much about him tonight in that number 1 machine, but Jason Stewart has starting to knock on the door of the top 10. We've seen that a few times this season where Jason Stewart has just kept that truck clean and has slowly but surely made his way to the front as the race wears on. But we do have 30 laps to go this time by, and Levi, you told me in one of the commercial breaks earlier on that your pick to win tonight was Jared Mogart, and he's starting to reel in that number 92 back up there at the front.
Yeah. Definitely thought Mogart would definitely be the one to potentially win tonight. The reason why I know is I've just seen him win so many times in ASR or ASRS before. Apparently I can't talk either tonight, Peter, so.
It's okay. It's a commentator's thing. It really is.
Must be. We got a battle for 2nd with Mogart, like my pick. He's coming. He's coming for 2nd. They're starting to reel in the leader, actually. So this is about to become really exciting. We're about to have a 3-way battle for 1st place.
Yeah,
We're about to try to win that lap.
Corey Silva last time by, he was 0.2 of a second slower than these 2 trucks right behind him. So you can see that gap up the front is shrinking. And now Evan Black is just 0.2 off the race lead as they're going to put Jim Foose down another lap. Jim's going to wisely stay up near the wall. And that number 42, you can see that thing's definitely down on power. Nonetheless, this battle for the race lead starting to hot up here with just under 30 laps to go.
Yeah, and Silva's definitely starting to protect kind of that middle groove. It looked like he was about to. But he's about to get a run right there, Evan is.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to know what Evan Black's going to do to try and get around Corey Silva here. We've seen some drivers have some luck running a little bit higher groove, but looks like that number 92 might have gotten a little bit sideways coming out of turn number 4. Had to check up just a little bit. That's going to allow Mogart now to get to his outside. Side-by-side battle now for 2nd.
Yeah, I definitely think that was smart by Mogart getting that nose up there on the outside, because I think he's going to get the momentum off the corner. And I wonder when they get closer to Silva, Silva's going to throw that block to the outside, so they have to try to pass him on the bottom. I mean, that's what I'd be doing if I was Silva up there when they get to him. But he's probably liking this 2nd place battle right now, because he's about to inch him away again. He's starting to pull a little bit of distance on them by doing this.
Yeah, we saw that. That's what gave that number 94 truck a big lead before. It was that side-by-side battle for second. And once again, Evan Black and Mogard, those two going at it. And Evan Black's not laying over for Mogard. And that number 92, Mogard just cleared him.
Wow. I don't even know how he cleared him.
I'm sure that spotter shouted clear, 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 and he just moved over right in front of that number 92 machine, but move Mogard now up to second as we have 25 laps to go at Chicago.
Yeah, and Mogard's a man on a mission.
Let's see if we can go through the field here at Chicagoland. Currently, your race leader is Corey Silva with 25 laps to go. Started on the pole and has led a good portion of tonight's race. And keep an eye on Corey Silva there at the end of this one, currently riding in second. About 0.2 of a second off the race lead is Jared Mogard. He's starting to close back in on the number 94, Corey Silva. So keep an eye on Mogard. Currently running in third is Evan Black in the number 92. I believe he's led the most laps here tonight, but nonetheless, Evan Black is kind of setting himself up in case those two leaders start to get racy. Currently in the fourth position behind him, however, is Will Worcester, also led a decent number of laps. And he, just like the number 92, waiting to see if they start to get racy in front of him. Behind the number 29, we find last week's race winner at Gateway Motorsports Park. The number 51 of Mitch Brown did not qualify, but has worked his way up now into the top 5. Now, what about this run for the 6th place driver, Alex Giese? Giese always seems to find himself in trouble, but so far tonight has kept that number 77 truck nice and clean. Of course, don't really want the commentator's curse to strike him, but nonetheless, great run for Alex Giese, currently running in 6th. Behind him, however, is Jimmy McKee. And remember, Jimmy McKee, under that last caution, he took 2 tires, everyone else who took 4. And I gotta say, whether or not that gamble paid off, Jimmy McKee still having a very respectable run in the 7th position currently. Behind him is another driver we've talked about a few times tonight. That's the 35 of Kelsey Rogers. Kelsey got some damage early on, has been continuing to battle with that number 35 truck, but has got it solidly inside the top 10 and having another pretty good night. Behind him, however, we got the number 28. That's Troy Haight. Troy Haight started on the outside pole tonight and slid back 7 positions from where he started, but nonetheless inside the top 10. And that's been a pretty good spot for Troy Haight. Troy has, we have a problem. That's Evan Black in the number 92. He was up near the front as, oh my gosh, as we were going through the field, we missed some action up near the front. Mitch Brown sailed it to the inside of the number 92 machine, and Will Worcester right in front of him got loose. And the number 29 checked up, got hit by Mitch Brown, and they put the number 92 in the wall. So those are 3 of the major contenders in this race. Evan Black, Will
get some help though on that?
I think he just got loose. He got himself loose and had to check up. We're going back and watching the replay, and I think you can see that number 29 had a little bit of a wiggle right in the center of the corner, and the number 51 had nowhere to go, and Evan Black hard contact with the outside wall. I'm going to say that's going to be the end of that number 92's night.
I mean, a heck of a job by the 92 saving that, though. He was all the way sideways, and he was able to keep it off of everything else and didn't spin it in front of the field, so that's a great job by him.
Oh, Kelsey Rogers hit the wall this last time by, and now we have a battle right behind him. That's Will Worcester and Mitch Brown. I think Mitch Brown might have actually clipped the apron going through number 1 and 2. Oh, he got sideways and got that 51 truck sideways. Oh, Richard Stallings. Richard Stallings has gone around on the front stretch, and you know what, Levi? I think what we're starting to see is kind of a transition where these trucks all of a sudden started to get wicked loose, and that's what happened to Richard Stallings.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he was trying everything to save it, and it was beyond unsavable at that point. But same thing, coming out of the corner, he just got loose. The tires are just not hooking up right now, and I don't know if it's getting colder is why it's getting looser or what, but there's definitely that turning point like you said, and it's coming right now. So these guys are all going to come down and get some 4 fresh tires and Goodyears and good to go to the end, hopefully.
Yeah, well, that last run was about 20 or so laps, and we have less than 20 laps remaining. We have 17 laps to go here at Chicagoland, so every driver will come down, get fresh Goodyear Eagles, and they will be good to the end. We will not see this change in behavior here tonight. Once again, track temperature currently sitting at 69 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's a little bit warmer, a couple degrees warmer than what we saw earlier, but that's probably just due to the friction of the tires and the road actually warming up the pavement rather than the sun, which is now all your leaders on pit road. Levi, 2 or 4 here? I'm going to say 4.
I'm gonna say 4. The other big thing I noticed is the weather is that the wind is really picking up, it seems like, at times. So it was like a little bit calmer during the beginning of the race, but then it's all the way up to 11 miles an hour at some points. So I don't know if that's playing a major factor in this or not, but hopefully he's starting to notice the tires once the night fell that it's getting looser.
Yeah, that can definitely have an effect on how these trucks drive. If you get a little bit of a gust of the wind at the wrong spot, it can definitely make that truck handle a little bit looser. It looks like Corey Silva in that number 94 is going to win the race off pit road. And like you said, Levi, 4 tires for just about everyone. Looks like Mogard will be the second truck off pit road, followed by Kelsey Rogers in the number 35, Will Worsler, 4th truck off pit road, and then Jimmy McKee in the number 31. Got to keep an eye on Jimmy McKee. Last time he did the 2-tire pit stop and wasn't quite able to hang with the leaders, but now he's got 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on that truck. We'll have to see what he's able to do, as he's going to be up near the front here for this fairly short shootout. But definitely an interesting night. I personally, Levi, I wouldn't have expected these trucks to be as loose as they have been.
Yeah, I've never quite really battled a loose truck here, honestly. Maybe after 40 laps, but never that early in a run. So it's definitely interesting to see. I know they're all holding the bottom lane, but I mean, maybe move up a lane and see if it's a little bit better. But most of these guys are just sticking to that bottom because they think it's the fastest way around it right now.
Well, you know what they say, loose is fast, and it is fast until you're in the wall backwards. So, nonetheless, it's been a fantastic race here tonight. Definitely, I'm loving Chicagoland at night. It definitely looks pretty awesome to see, and finally iRacing has added this. And, of course, over the next couple months to a year, I'm sure we'll see more and more tracks have night, as iRacing has now gotten the day to night transitions finished. So that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, maybe in 2 years we'll have rain too.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
Right.
you're at lap number 44, and all of a sudden it starts raining, and we got the red flag, and that's it. Hey, get a little bit of a rain delay. Everyone has to sit in their trucks for 20 minutes for the rain to pass. Now that would be a simulation if I've ever heard one.
Man, we'd have a Brad Keselowski moment, everyone texting in the car and tweeting out some pictures.
Yeah, and then you won't be able to do that. You'll get banned, and yeah, I don't know. If it's a real simulation. Pace car lights are off. Everyone starting to double up here at Chicagoland. We'll be green flag racing here in just about a lap. But Levi, I'll give you one opportunity. You gonna pick someone other than Mogart, or you're sticking to your guns?
I'm gonna stick to Mogart. I mean, I think he's the right decision. I know he hasn't been great on these restarts and all, but I think he was the better truck at the end of that run. So I definitely think if it stays green all the way, I think he has a real shot at this. I know he's not great, it seems like, on that short run, but I think he'll be good on the long run.
Unfortunately, my race pick, Tyler Seville, he received a lot of damage early, but currently sitting in the 10th position. So kind of a good recovery for Tyler here tonight. We'll have to see if he can make his way deep inside the top 10 or not. But only time will tell, as once we go back to green flag racing, we'll have 13 laps to go here around Chicagoland Speedway. That's just about 20 miles to figure out your race winners. Pace car dives down onto pit road. Green flag back in the air. And look at that restart that the number 94 got. He jumped quite a few truck lengths earlier than that number 00 Mogard. He's going to scoot his way out to the front.
And I think he's going to make a run here right out of this corner. I wouldn't be watch it.
Yeah, you know, he's able to use that draft here early in the run, and now the 00 Mogard to the outside of the number 94, just on his quarter panel, not quite able to hold that position for now, as here comes Will Worsler coming back into the top 3. We saw that number 29 truck completely sideways just a few laps ago, but now Worsler up into 3rd. Mogard still hounding the 94 of Corey Silva. There's about 4 or 5 truck lengths between Mogard and Worsler. Worsler with that rear end damage. We'll have to see if he can hold on to these front 2, because the top 2 have no damage. Jimmy McKee also worked himself up now into the 5th position. Yeezy running in 6th, right behind him. So some good battles side by side now for 4th. Kelsey Rogers to the outside, Jimmy McKee to the inside. That battle's going to rage on through the tri-oval. And I think Jimmy McKee's going to take it here through turns number 1 and 2. So great run for Jimmy McKee, as he's going to slot up into the 4th position.
Whoa, 35 in the wall there. Wow, he almost got the 77 on it, but it looks like everyone stays clear of it, and 18 was able to get by as well. 35 is going to drop a couple of positions there.
Yeah, he's now under fire from Jason Stewart in that number 1 machine. And like I said not too long ago, Jason Stewart, he kind of can stay quiet in some races, but all of a sudden, when it's towards the end of the race, he keeps that 1 truck clean and starts to work his way forward, as he's also trying to pull his teammate, driver number 51, Mitch Brown, forward with him. And remember, Mitch Brown was another one of those trucks not too long ago that was completely sideways through turns number 3 and 4. So Mitch Brown trying to work his way forward again.
Yeah, and it looks like Silva's putting that gap on putting the gap on the 00 there.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's kind of taken off here. Going to keep an eye on lap times as they go around this racetrack. But got to give a shout out to Jamie McKee. You know, he looking at his finishes so far this year, he did finish 3rd last week at Gateway. The 92 in the wall, or maybe not in the wall, but trying to stay out of the way of the leaders. That number 92 has a lot of damage and off the pace. I saw out of the corner of the eye some sparks coming off that truck, and it did seem like he was just trying to stay out of the way. That truck heavily off the pace as he goes down the back stretch, a couple laps down. So tough break for Evan Black after getting involved in that scuffle not too long ago.
Yeah, top 3 are kind of went away with this, so it's going to be interesting to see if these all can get combined back together like they did the previous run, and see if we have a 3-way battle for the lead. But it definitely looks like Mogard is closing in on Silva right now.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm going to keep an eye on live timing and scoring to see just how that battle for the lead is shaping up. Last time by, Mogard was the fastest truck on the racetrack. He was about a 10th faster than Silva. This time by, we'll see how it all plays out. And it does look like, indeed, that Corey Silva was 2 1/1000ths of a second faster, as we have a side-by-side battle now for the 4th positions. Here comes Geesey underneath Jimmy McKee. McKee had that 3rd place run last week, so he's trying to use that momentum from last week's great finish to see if he can stay in front of Geesey, but doesn't look like he's able to do so here. As here comes Troy Haight, your outside pole sitter at the start of this event, is starting to make some noise once again.
Yeah, I think he definitely realized after that first spin to take it easy, and he's just fighting his way slowly back up to the top 5, and he's about to get past the 31 here, hopefully.
Meanwhile, we have 5 laps to go up at the front. Mogard and Silva trading fastest laps with one another. Mogard currently sits about 0.3 of a second behind that number 94 machine, but Corey Silva knows how to get things done here in the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. In that number 94 machine, if we have a caution now, don't say it, but we would have a green-white checker which is new to the iRacing service. Definitely a fantastic addition recently. But we do have a side-by-side battle between McKee and Troy Haight. That's a side-by-side battle for 5th. Nothing's happening up at the front just yet as they're going around some lap traffic here, race leaders, and it does look like Troy Haight will win the battle for the 5th position. McKee drops to 6th. Look at Mogard. He's trying to use some lap traffic to his benefit to get a little bit extra draft, but wasn't quite able to get anything that lap. And you know what, Levi? I'm starting to think maybe that 00 is starting to get some aero wash on the nose, and we just can't quite close in on that 94 Silva.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, because it seems like he's keeping about that same distance, but that lap truck may have played a big factor. He's caught him pretty well right here, and he's about to get a good run. It's about to be right on him. Going into turn 1. Wow.
The lap truck of Chris Lane was to the outside of the number 94. Corey Silva really caught him in the worst spot. We have 2 laps to go. Be white flag this time by. Corey Silva just has to get around another 2 miles of this D-shaped oval to get the checkered flag. But we have a caution.
Oh, caution!
It's got a big green-white checker here at Chicagoland. Oh, Troy Haight's involved.
No.
It's a wreck in turn number 3. Troy Haight. Kelsey Rogers is smoking. Go back and see if we can see what happened here on a possible replay. Looks like the one of Jason Stewart was to the inside of Troy Haight. The one in the 28 made some contact down the back straight. I think Troy Haight was trying to get around the lap truck of Calvin Miller. Made a little bit of a move, and Jason Stewart wasn't really giving him much room down there, and they got together, turned the number 28 right around, and a couple of other trucks got involved, including Kelsey Rogers. So definitely a tough break for both of those two, but I think it was just those 2 trucks that got any significant damage from it. But we will have a green-white checker, and Levi, to pit or not to pit, that is the question.
Man, I was just going to ask you that. I have no idea. This is my first one I've ever seen. I would say pit. Yeah, I would say pit.
And Mogart says no!
Mogart, no! What?
Mogart says no!
Wait.
So,
what? Wow.
So Mogart's going to stay out. Alex Giese stays out with him, but it looks like everyone else is on pit road. So, now, 2 tires or 4 tires, we'll find out what your leaders do here.
I think Silva's going to take 2 because of that.
I think he's going to have to if he's got a shot at winning this thing. But the right side's up on the 94 truck, left side's going up now, so Silva's taking 4. Looks like everyone else took 4, so only drivers to stay out are Mogart and Giese. And then it will be Corey Silva on 4 fresh tires, who will restart on the inside of row 2 here. My, oh my, I expected a couple of other people to gamble there, Levi.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing a couple of others did stay out, but nonetheless,
I'm
Jared
surprised
Mogart
that Mogart did. I mean, 2nd place, and he just didn't pit. So I don't know. I think I want to repick now.
Well, you know that 00 Mogart, you know he's going to be on the loud pedal pretty early on, trying to see if he can catch Corey Silva sleeping, but nonetheless, only time will tell how this race will play out. We do have 3 attempts at a green-white checker, so if we get a caution in the first lap, we will do this all over again, and we will see how that all plays out. Pace car lights are still on here at Chicagoland, but TNT, we know drama. 3YTV, we also know drama. Our producer's like, do we really? I'm like, yeah, we do know drama. There's been a lot of drama here today, here in the production truck. Unfortunately, we lost one of our computers this week here on 3YTV, and hopefully we can have it back up and running next week. But nonetheless, that has put a lot of stress on us, and we're doing things a little bit differently here tonight, so bear with us here on 3YTV. But nonetheless, we're going to have a stellar finish here as this race gets towards its conclusion. Jared Mogart, your race leader over at Alex Giese. Giese started this race in 19th. He's currently running 2nd. Your pole sitter, however, Corey Silva, 4 fresh tires, will be restarting 3rd. Will Worsler restarting to his outside. And what about Jeremy Manning? Banning decided to take 2 tires in the number 15 truck, and he sits 5th. So Banning was one of those drivers who decided to take a gamble, roll the dice, and he's gained a lot of spots out of it. So we'll see how it all plays out for Jeremy Banning here tonight. One to green.
The thing that surprises me, if I was Mogart, I would put the 77 in front of him, in front of the 92 or 94 of Silva. I think that would have been the smarter decision. I wouldn't want Silva starting behind me, because he's gonna get that run with you.
Yeah, with Mogard, your race leader, he is going to be able to kind of go when he wants to, but that is going to allow Corey Silva to kind of see when he decides to go. And like you said, Levi, starting in the second position, or starting to the, I should say, starting alongside the leader when you're in second, whether you're on the inside or the outside, is the most difficult spot in all of racing, in my opinion, on the restart. And it'll be interesting to see when Mogard goes and how Giese responds to when he goes. But nonetheless, we'll have 3 miles around this D-shaped oval to get it done. The Ford Mustang pace car lights are off. We're getting set to go back to green flag for 2 more times around
here too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that under caution. You know, these older tires, we've seen these trucks get loose tonight, and with the older tires, you can get a little bit more wheel spin. Nonetheless, pace car is off. He's already on the loud pedal. What a restart there for Mogard.
Yeah, he comes jumped out, but napping, and he did not go.
Now the number 94 is going to have to get a huge run, use those 4 fresh tires to his advantage, but he's only got now about 1 3/4 of a lap to do it. Can that number 94? We got 1 car on the apron.
Oh man, there's Jason 3 wide back there. We're about to see our second one, I think.
Oh yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Hard in the outside. Oh, Tyler Seville, 04.
Wow.
And I thought it was Jimmy McKee. It was Jeremy Banning who got who impaled the outside wall.
Somebody just nailed the wall though in turn 3.
Yeah, I believe that was the number 15. And he just got loose on entry.
He nailed the wall, man.
Yeah, dailing the wall is not a good thing to have happen. But yeah, there's a little twitch on entry with that number 15 machine, and it got sideways. He tried to correct, and it just went straight into the outside wall.
Did you say he was the one on 2 tires?
He was. He was.
I wonder
the one
if they
on
had
2
to play
tires.
it back.
Yeah, I would think it would. I mean, 2 tires usually makes you a little bit looser, and I think we saw that there. But nonetheless, Mogard did not want to see that caution, because now he's going to have to lead them back to the green flag once again. But he does have Corey Silva to his outside on this restart. Once we do go back to green in a couple laps time, Will Worsler right behind him. And remember, we saw Will Worsler sideways not too long ago in that number 29 machine, so great recovery for him. Giese still sitting in 4th. Giese might be able to see if he can get a top 3 out of this thing, and I know that's exactly what Alex is wanting to see. He's had a rough season so far, but definitely he's shown some speed over the last few weeks, some great qualifying runs, just hasn't quite been able to put it together to get it to victory lane. But nonetheless, Alex Giese currently sits in 4th, and we got attempt 2 of 3 of a green-white checker coming up. Levi, I mean, I have yet to be in an iRacing race with the green-white checker, but I'm sure the nerves of these drivers are just through the roof right now.
Yeah, I haven't even been through one either, and I would be through the roof, man. Like, I don't know. I'd have so much nerves. I think my foot would be shaking so hard on the pedal that I'd probably break my pedals at that point on the gas.
I'm just looking at the field here tonight. Of course, we started with 31 trucks. Currently, we have 11 trucks on the lead lap, and one of those trucks is Chris Titus. He's sitting on pit road right now.
I think the 3 is too.
Yeah, Pete Baskins. Pete Baskins was able to get back around, but he's currently in the 10th position, so it's going to be a top 10 for pretty much all but one of your lead lap cars here tonight. Tyler Seville in the 11, he also got impaled in that accident, but that crew is going to go to work on that machine, see if he can limp the 11 back around to see if he can finish this one out. But as I say that, Chris Titus has fallen a lap down, so we have 10 trucks on the lead lap, and let's go through that order for you. Jared Mogart, your race leader. Corey Silva is second. Will Worsler third. Alex Giese fourth. Jimmy McKee fifth. Jason Stewart 6th, Mitch Brown 7th, Richard Fletcher 8th, Doug Mullins 9th, Pete Baskins in 10th. Pace car lights are still on. This is kind of a long yellow.
Tell you what, I think Greenwood Checkers was probably a really great thing that iRacing decided to add. I mean, I can't wait to have my first one, that's for sure. I definitely wanted one like 2 weeks ago when we were at, I don't know what the last track was, we were in Cup, but I definitely wanted one.
Yeah, and it's great for the people watching. It is also great for us commentators because it leads to some exciting finishes. I know there's been a couple times this year where, you know, I wish we had a green-white checker because the race finished 3 or 4 laps early. But unfortunately, our producer's saying it's not great for the producer because, as you will have noticed, the timing and scoring on the left-hand side of your screen is kind of broken. And that is just a nature of this green-white checker until our software gets updated for the green-white checker scenario. We'll just keep that in mind, but nonetheless, we do have 2 laps to go once we go green flag in just a lap because pace car lights are off.
I just realized the track I wanted today was at Montega. Or Motega or whatever. Whatever, Motegi!
I'm twittering.
As our Carlos says.
That track in Japan that has an oval that is actually not even usable anymore. They had an earthquake that hit that area, and they don't even have the oval usable anymore. So
I thought it was a tsunami.
I think it was the tsunami. It was that when they had that earthquake that had the tsunami. It was when all that happened. So yes, they are related.
Either way, this is why you don't have ovals over in Japan.
Yeah, as the producer said, that's why we don't have ovals on islands. But I gotta say that Hawaii Speedway in NASCAR 2000 was pretty cool. Nonetheless, pace car is coming off here. Pace car lights are off. Race once again in the hand of Mogard. He's off and going. Green flag back in the air. Mogard has 2 laps to try and run away from the field to get the checkered flag, and he is off and away. Here comes Will Worsler battling with the 94. Yep, a little bit of side-by-side banging. But Worsler now, he is going to get through. Worsler now has a lap and a half to close in on Mogard, and I gotta say, Mogard's tires are looking pretty darn good. Here comes Jimmy McKee. McKee now up into, he had to check up though. He was down there on the apron, had to check up. Jason Stewart in the 1 checked up as well. We have the white flag in the air. The next flag will end the race. No more green-white checkers, but Mogard still has a pretty sizable lead here with 1 lap to go.
Man, this is gonna be interesting. They're gonna get him. Oh, he went high! He went high! Oh no, in the wall! And here comes Silva. Silva's gonna get to the inside, man.
Side-by-side battle now for the win. They're gonna go through turns number 3 and 4. The 94 of Corey Silva to the inside. This is gonna be a photo finish, folks. Contact, and Will Worsler wins it at Chicagoland. What?
He won the lap.
I lost it. He won the lap that mattered the most, however. Will Worsler gets the victory lane. What a finish, folks.
Oh my god, the beating and banging at the end was freaking great.
We're going to have to go back and see if we can catch that replay because holy cow. I thought Silva had it coming out of turn number 4, but Worsler held tough on that high side. They beat and banged. Silva going through the grass. In fact, Silva came through, finished second, and impaled his pit box. Not quite sure what Corey Silva might be thinking after this one, but nonetheless, that was an exciting finish. What all the fans came to watch here on 3Y TV. Sorry for the shouting. Hopefully, I didn't break any of your speakers out there, but Jimmy McKee in the number 31 machine, he's going to come home 3rd. So great run for Jimmy McKee, back to back third place finishes for that number 31 machine. That was pretty cool.
Jason Stewart was also a benefit on that last one too. He got 4th place on that. That's great for him.
Yeah, he had to check up to not run into the back of the number 31 machine there, coming to the white flag. And once Mogard hit that wall, Mogard fell all the way back to the 6th position. But boy, it definitely led to a fantastic finish.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the IndyCar finish at Chicagoland they had in the mid-2000s with Sam Hornish winning. Chicagoland definitely is able to put on a fantastic show like we saw here. And the first race under the lights here with green-white checkered. Gotta say, iRacing, you're definitely adding new things to the simulation, and all of us iRacers out there are appreciative of that fact because it's nights like tonight that wouldn't probably been possible just a few months ago here in the iRacing service. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to commercial here for just a brief moment, but come on back because we're going to interview the top 3. I'm sure you're going to want to listen to Will Worsler and Corey Silva, those 2 drivers battling it out there on that last lap. But we'll see you in just a minute here once we come back to the Sam Maxwell Sr. Memorial 125. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sam Maxwell Sr. Memorial 125 here on 3Y TV for the American Sim Racing Series, Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series, and my oh my, we had a spectacular finish here tonight, side by side right to the end. But before we get to those top 2 finishers, let's talk to your 3rd place finisher tonight. That would be driver of the number 31 machine of Jimmy McKee, and I believe he is in here somewhere. See if we can move him up here to the interview room. There we go. Jimmy McKee, Peter Short here in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. Man, it was a crazy night here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. It looks like those trucks were a handful after about 20 laps, but nonetheless, you were able to battle through it all, come home with a 3rd place finish. Talk us through your night because it was a pretty eventful one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun when we get a long run going there and the tires start really falling off, and you really got to feather the corners. I wish we had a lot more longer runs so that we could do that, but all in all, I mean, it was a fun night. Minus the cautions, the truck handled really well, I thought, even with the looseness, but can't complain. 2nd week in a row, got a 3rd place. I feel like Alex Bowman a little bit. Hopefully we can grab a checker soon.
Yeah, in fact, I was just going to ask about that. Of course, 3rd place last week at Gateway Motorsports Park, backing that up with a 3rd place again here tonight. That's definitely a good run for you. You've kind of had an up-down season, but how important is it to get some consistency here in the middle part of the season?
It's really important. The momentum definitely will play a factor these next couple weeks. I feel like myself and my teammate Kelsey Rogers, we've had pretty good runs going for us, and then sometimes bad luck hits us. We don't get the finish we deserve, but the last couple weeks, he and I have been running pretty well up front. He had some bad luck early tonight again, but we'll bounce back next week.
And in fact, next week we do have an off week for 4th of July, but in 2 weeks' time we will be at the Kentucky Speedway, which is another 1.5 mile racetrack that's quite a bit flatter. It's quite bumpy. What are your thoughts about Kentucky?
Kentucky tends not to be one of my favorite tracks, but somehow in some other races I've raced there, I've won. I don't know how, but we have. But it'll be a challenge for sure, especially with the bumps. And if we have another loose setup like we did tonight, it'll be a lot.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, you got some shout outs for us?
Nah, same as last week. If anybody wants to put a logo on this truck, that'd be awesome. Like I said, I hate just a plain truck, but just want to say thank you all for the broadcast. As always, it's an awesome broadcast, and
all right, Jimmy. Well, like he said, put a sponsor on that thing. He's been in the top 3 on the podium the past 2 weeks, and you could have had your name shouted out. So, Jimmy, best of luck when we get back to racing in 2 weeks' time at Kentucky.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Well, that's your 3rd place finisher tonight, Jimmy McKee. But now we get to go to driver of the number 94 machine, Corey Silva, who finished 94 1/1000ths of a second behind Will Horser, your race leader, beating and banging for that win. And it's going to be Levi Zalitsky who's caught up with Corey Silva.
Corey, you got a copy? This is Rowdy.
I got you guys.
Hey, Corey. Well, I'm going to start off with this question, and it kind of leads to the second one, but describe the decision of taking the tires there at the end. What was the thought process on that?
There was no choice, man. We were out there, 14, 15 laps, so the car was, I was really tight there, and it was going to be hard holding them off even for that last lap if it went green, so there was no choice but to pit, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. I was kind of surprised that Mogart decided to stay out there. The next part is just take me through the last 2 laps of that race, because that was insane from our end.
Well, I have not figured out restarts in this new gearing package that there is, so I fell back too far. I thought I had no chance, but all of a sudden, at the end of the white flag, I'm in position to make a move, and I knew Mogard was going to fall back. It was me and my teammate headed into 3, and I didn't want to, do anything overly obnoxious, but I wanted to take a stab at it, so I got tight in 3 and 4, washed up. I knew I wasn't going to get it. He had the momentum off of 4, so I took a last-ditch effort. I hoped it didn't wreck both of us, but I wanted to make it interesting, and I did, but it didn't work, so.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting from our end, and man, you guys still finished 1-2, so as a team owner, you probably are pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, it's good to see the team in victory lane. Evans won a couple, Will's won a bunch. I got to get myself more. I've been choking way too many of these away, but all in all, team's in victory lane, so, it's still a good night for the most part.
Yeah, it's such a great effort, man. How do you feel? I know you got an off week next week because of 4th of July, and then next week you guys are at Kentucky. So describe how you feel about Kentucky and what your thoughts are. Can you get a win there?
With the new package, and the new gearing ratio we have, I don't know how it's going to drive. It's usually not one of my better tracks, so we'll put some time into it. But, at least get a top 5. Maybe my teammates can teach me something.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who do you guys shout out tonight?
Fame Motorsports, Rapid Fire Graphics, you guys for the broadcast, and just everyone that's part of the league, and want to give condolences to Sam and his family for what they're going through right now.
All right, there we heard it from Corey. Great race, man. Good 2nd place finish. It was a heck of a battle and fun to watch.
All right, well, that is your 2nd place finisher, Corey Silva, but I am down here in victory lane with driver of the number 29 machine. That would be Will Worsler, and my oh my, Will, what a spectacular finish there at the end. We heard it from Corey Silva's perspective that a little bit of beating and banging there at the end. Was hoping it just didn't end up with both of you in the fence and not winning the race, but he definitely made things interesting. Talk us through those last few laps from your perspective.
Man, they were crazy. They were crazy. I don't know. I knew I was kind of sitting pretty given Mogard's tire situation and being third. So I did what I needed to do, and I really hated that Corey was able to get to the inside of me off of 2. And so I just kind of embraced the third lane and my throttle and was able to get the run off of 4. And when we touched, I actually thought it was my fault. I was expecting him to turn down and go as far inside as possible. So I think maybe I turned down or maybe I didn't. It all happens fast. I don't know. But when we made contact, I started apologizing. He was like, no, that wasn't your fault. That was me. But it was crazy, and man, it was fun.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, it's a fantastic finish for everyone watching. We've had like 10 comments in the chat saying what a finish, and it definitely was. But, tonight, with it being night and it being Chicagoland with these trucks that have a lot of downforce, I was expecting it to be pretty much flat out for the first few laps at least. Was that the case? And what happened after about 15 laps? Because we saw a lot of trucks all of a sudden start to get really loose after 15 to 20 laps.
I can tell you the first, while it was still daylight, you could probably stay flat for 2 or 3. I didn't really press it after 2.5 laps. Some guys maybe did, I don't know. But whenever it started getting darker and more grip, it was also, to me, the way I was driving, easier to burn my right rear off. And that's part of why I got sideways at some point and almost wrecked and took myself out. And I had burnt my right rear off driving the way I had the first part of the race. So I had to completely change on the fly, and it really kind of messed me up. If it stayed green all the way to the end, when Mogard and Corey was up ahead of me, I just wouldn't be able to catch them because I was still trying to adjust and relearn how to drive because the track conditions have changed. It's crazy how much things are changing now with the way iRacing's been implementing their builds and stuff. And it's gotten to be fun and more dynamic.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the moment where you got loose and you got a little bit of rear end damage. Did that damage affect your truck's handling in any way?
I don't think it did. I mean, it affected me because I know that I caused a wreck that took out my teammate Evan, and I apologize to him for that. I mean, I lost it on my own. But I don't know, stuff like that happens, I guess, when you're racing hard.
See, Levi, stuff like that happens.
Right.
Yeah, there's some bad blood between Levi and I up here in the 3-Wide TV booth. But nonetheless, next week we have an off week for 4th of July. But after that, we go to Kentucky Speedway. It's another 1.5-mile racetrack, much flatter than this one. I don't think you'll be able to quite ever go flat out there. But nonetheless, what are your thoughts about Kentucky?
I feel pretty good about Kentucky. I'm not used to racing the truck there, so it's going to be kind of a learning process, kind of like this was. I mean, some weeks I show up and I'm so-so, and some weeks I show up and can contend for the win like tonight. And so we'll have to find out, but I feel confident enough going into it.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, Will, you got any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, I do. First off, I want to send out my best wishes for Sam Maxwell and his family. Wish them the best with what all they're going through in their personal stuff. Sam does a lot for this league and pays for my practices every Monday night, and I appreciate it, and I hope he knows that. But I also want to dedicate this win to my wife because she sits and watches every one of these races every week, and she gives me a lot of support, and if you want to call it that, she complains when I don't win. And I get a lot of support from one of my other iRacing friends, Craig Stykes, almost every week. And my teammates at PTR, man, these primetime racing guys are good. Corey and Evan, fun to race with. Brandon, they're all great. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for putting on a show each and every week, because when it's like this, it definitely brings in the viewers, and it's a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to commentate on. So, nonetheless, we'll see you in 2 weeks at Kentucky Speedway, and best of luck there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. You guys do a good job. Like 3-Wide.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Will Worcester, race winner of tonight's Sam Maxwell Sr. Memorial 125, and he won the last lap, the lap that mattered the most. And Levi, it was a pretty spectacular race. Yeah, he won the lap, and he also won the race, which is pretty legit. I gotta say, that's the way to do it. If there's one lap you want to win, it is the last one. But let's go through the final race results here tonight. Like we said, Will Worcester did take that checkered flag here. Corey Silva comes home in second. Jimmy McKee, back-to-back third-place finishes for that number 31 machine. Great to see that. Jason Stewart finishing fourth right behind him. And, of course, Jason Stewart, he got $25 last week. Will Worcester, I should say, this week, I believe he is going to get the $25 this week. Of course, we'll wait and see. Make sure there were no infractions during the race, but that's kind of a sweet deal that Will Worcester was able to get. Mitch Brown comes home in the 5th position, last week's winner of the race. Jared Mogart 6th. Alex Giese in the 77 machine comes home in 7th. So if he is looking to go to Las Vegas, 777 for Alex Giese. Richard Fletcher in the 47. He had a lot of damage early on, but nonetheless, he was able to battle through it, came home in 8th. Doug Mullins comes home in 9th. Pete Baskins, another driver who had some struggles throughout the race, but rounds out your top 10. Calvin Miller finishing in 11th. Chris Titus, 12th. Tyler Seville, 13th. Evan Black, 14th. Jeremy Banning, 15th. Troy Hates, 16th. 17th, Kelsey Rogers. 18th, Chris Lane. Richard Stallings, 19th. And Robbie Baskins in 20th. And all those drivers from 11th place on back were more than one lap down. Finishing in the 21st position, Jim Foose in the number 42. Jack Wells right behind him in 22nd. Tim Knott, 23rd. Jackson Van Volkenberg, 24th. Brennan Kurtz, 25th. Edward Bray, 26th. Brandon Stokes, 27th. Lee Staples, 28th. Steve Buhala, 29th. Devin Serra and Alan Young round out your 31 truck field. Well, Levi, any final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, definitely exciting to see my first green white checkered. I mean, that was freaking exciting there at the end. I think it's a great addition to the sport and to iRacing itself. In Night Chicagoland, I definitely want to see more of. I think it created more excitement and better racing, honestly. I think tonight is what I've seen from it.
Yeah, and I believe this was our second green-white checker in a row here in the ASRS Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. So it'll be interesting to see if we can go 3 for 3 in 2 weeks' time at Kentucky Speedway. That will be in June. Sorry, not June. We're already in June, aren't we? July 9th here on 3Wide TV live, as always, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So be sure to see us then, because we'll be right here on 3Wide TV. Before we go, we want to just give a shout out to the Maxwell family. You're in our thoughts here at 3Wide TV. Hope everyone is doing well, and we hope to see Sam Maxwell Jr. on the track here pretty soon as we keep Sam Maxwell Sr. in our thoughts. Here, of course, tonight, the Sam Maxwell Sr. 125 Memorial Race. It was definitely one to watch. Hopefully, we're able to put that on in his name and have a fantastic show. We also want to give a shout out to our friend Thomas Morris, who puts together these graphics for us here, and also one of our other broadcasting partners, SimTV, for the awesome cameras each and every week. iRacingIFlag, another sponsor of the ASRS series. Go check them out. Some pretty cool iRacing products. And everyone else who keeps ASRS going, go check out the ASRS website to check out the league in more detail. Jim Foose does a fantastic job putting all the stuff together, as does Carlos Acosta. And Carlos, he's our producer here, and he's gone through quite a few troubles this week, and we're trying to get everything sorted back out. So we'll be back up to full strength here in a week or two here on 3Wide TV. But nonetheless, that just about does it for us here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. We'll see you all then.